Hello, I am Sophie Lawrence and I lead stewardship and engagement at Greenbank. I'm here to tell you about a publication Greenbank has released called Sustainable Food Systems and Systemic Risks. What role does the Investor Coalition on Food Policy play to promote health and resilience? The report focuses primarily on the story of the Investor Coalition on Food Policy so far, an initiative which Greenbank were part of setting up in 2021 and which I currently chair. It looks first at why the coalition exists and what its core aims are, and then explores its activities and impact to date. The Investor Coalition on Food Policy was established in July 2021 in response to the launch of the National Food Strategy. It exists to harness the power of the investment community to engage collectively with government in support of policies that will help build a healthy, sustainable and affordable food system. It is currently focused on UK policy, but has plans to expand the scope in the future. Public policy can play a powerful role in shaping and incentivising progress towards sustainable development by setting the rules of the game. As sustainable investors, we can help to mitigate whole system threats, such as the risks associated with diet-related poor health, through strategic engagement with policymakers and standard setters. The coalition includes a wide range of different global financial institutions, from large institutional investor names to smaller sustainability-focused ones, alongside health-focused foundations and civil society organisations. Investors are increasingly aware of the material financial risks that could arise if we fail to transition our food system to one which is healthy, sustainable and affordable. There are systemic risks driven by poor health, environmental degradation and climate change, direct risks for companies, including higher staff absence rates and transition risks from policy and regulation changes. These risks impact individual food businesses and indirectly investors in these companies, as well as the wider economy. If we look at trends around health, climate change and environmental degradation, they all show us worrying trends about the state of our food system. On health, 1 in 5 deaths globally are associated with a poor diet, and increasing rates of diet-related illness are putting a significant strain on our health service. Looking to environmental degradation, the food system is responsible for 70% of freshwater withdrawals and 80% of global deforestation. And the food system is responsible for around a quarter of global greenhouse gas emissions, and therefore is a big contributor to climate change. One of the core aims is to create a level playing field for companies by introducing mandatory government reporting guidelines on health and other sustainability measures. To date, reporting on the healthiness of a company's product portfolio has been voluntary, meaning that only some companies report. Where they do report, companies often disclose different metrics and use different definitions of what is healthy, making it difficult for investors to compare performance across companies. The coalition argues that reporting requirements need to be made mandatory to drive the greatest impact, as voluntary approaches have only had limited success at increasing disclosure. Second, we need to change the commercial incentives for companies. This can be done through long-term, consistent policy intervention, including an extension of the soft drinks industry levy, which has led to a successful reformulation of drinks, improvements to people's health, and a negligible impact on company turnover. With any policy that is implemented, there needs to be consistency in the direction over the long term to allow companies to plan and invest the necessary capital to transition their business models. Since 2022, the Coalition has played an advisory role to the UK Government's Food Data Transparency Partnership, a partnership to improve the environmental sustainability and healthiness of food and drink through better food data. The Coalition has been active in calling for the outputs to be made mandatory throughout and has responded to the working group consultations. We have also been vocal when the initiative has faced rollbacks in its scope or ambition. The Coalition has given oral and written evidence to a recent House of Lords committee on food, diet and obesity. The final report was released in October, and the government now has 2 months to respond. Several of the Coalition's recommendations featured in the report, including the need for mandatory reporting of health targets and the need for a whole government approach to tackling the issue. Over the last 3 years, the Coalition has had several meetings with senior ministers and MPs. A recent example was a roundtable in April, which provided investors and food businesses with an opportunity to put forward our vision for a healthy, sustainable and affordable food system. You can read a lot more about all of these activities in the report. We hope you enjoy reading it, and please do get in touch if you have any questions.